Hi curious souls, I'm Mukta and you're watching Visible Revealing Secrets. Today we'll be discussing the Justice card. And as usual, I expect you to have already meditated with the card and jotted down your rough points as to what according to you the card means and then watch this video. If you haven't done that, then please do it. And if you have, then great, let's begin. The Justice is the card of fairness, approval, commitment, honesty. It is the card that can involve a lot of legal matters. A card that demands you to be unbiased or impartial. Both mean almost the same, but basically doing what is right for you. It is a card that asks you to be ready for getting what you deserve or reaping what you've already sown. And if this is the time when you are sowing something, then this card suggests you to stay within the rules. Do not take any risk. Because the card talks a lot about karma. Whatever you'll do right now will come back to you at some point or the other. So doing your best is actually best for you. It is a card of honesty, equality and balance. I personally take this card as a card that talks about reaping what you've sown. So getting what you deserve, basically. Depending on the question, whether the situation is a concluding one or an initiation one or somewhere in the middle, I will give my answer. Especially at work-related areas. For example, if someone has asked whether he or she will get a promotion or not, then I will first try to check whether they have worked hard enough to deserve that kind of promotion that they are looking at. And if they have, then they are going to get it. I make it clear to them that this is the time when they are actually going to be shown a mirror. If it is about getting a new job or entering into a new job, then I'll tell them to be very sure of keeping a good enough transparency in their work, not to be overshadowed by relationships or doing someone else's work to please them, kind of licking asses sort of a thing. Or just, trying to build relations with your boss in order to get better results in the future. None of those things are going to work in that particular culture. You need to earn what you want. You need to put in the required efforts in order to get the required output. And if it is an ongoing thing, like, if they are working towards something, then more or less this card will already say that there is an existence of justice, unless and until the card is at a position that tells me about the problems of this particular situation. So if the card is in an area that denotes problems, then I would say that justice is a problem over here, and hence the person needs to be careful. Now again, the position matters as to whether the problem is from the client's side or from the company's side. It highly depends on the type of question that has been formed and the type of spread that we are using in that case. So it would depend whether the person is not following justice or the company is not following justice. So, and also we'll be able to get to know a lot about it from the cards that will be surrounding this particular card, and hence we'll be able to understand it better in that particular situation. Although we will in future be discussing a lot about the interpretations of the readings, and we will be practicing such interpretations or how to combine the meanings of different cards and form them into a proper story, a story that is kind of an interpretation of what is expected to happen. And we'll be doing that in future. If you think you'll be interested in it, then subscribing to the channel would be a good idea, because we'll get to it after at least finishing the Major Arcana. We'll be doing some readings. Then we'll be taking at Minor Arcana. Then again we'll be doing some readings. And then we'll be doing some practices along with all the subscribers as well. So if you think that you'll be interested in it, then clicking the subscribe button would be a good idea. Moreover, it's free, so why not? Getting back to the meaning that I associate with this card, if the question is related to a love life thing or a relationship, then I'll say that the people involved, at least one of them has a mirror personality, which would mean that the person acts with you the way you act with them. So if you are good to the person, you will get good results from that person, and if you are bad to that person, you will get bad results. If you scream at them in anger, they might scream back at you at the same point of time. Honestly, I also have a mirror personality on a lot of occasions. It's good to know that the person has a mirror personality, because in that ways you can communicate things very easily. You can do to them what you want them to do to you, so that it's a win-win situation kind of a thing. For a relationship reading, Justice card can also mean that if they have been together as a couple in a really good manner, then they are nearing the return or the benefits of their commitment towards each other. It might mean that the relationship is going to get official really soon, or is going to get to the next stage really soon. If the question is about spirituality, then again it would talk about the efforts and the output. So if you have put in enough efforts, then you'll be getting enough development in your journey, and if you haven't, then you won't. Even in the love relationship thing, I forgot to mention this, that the input-output proportion works there as well. So if you want your partner to put in more efforts in the relationship, you need to do that first if the Justice card is showing up. Now let's look at the symbolisms from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck of the Justice card. It is a very special card for me, mainly because of the way I chose to name my brand with the tarot, related to tarot stuff, be it on YouTube, be it on my website, be it my consultations, and be it my Facebook page, everywhere. I call my tarot adventures as the Sibyl, and the Rider-Waite-Smith deck representation of the Justice card is also very much related with the Sibyl. Sibyls were a group of ladies in the ancient Rome who could foretell future. They were regarded as prophetesses of God himself. So it is an amazing feeling, but obviously the Justice card and its symbolism is not at all limited to the Sibyl. Over here we are able to see a lot of things. She's also related or representative of the Egyptian goddess Mat, the one who decides where a soul goes, be it heaven or hell. So she basically provides justice by checking as to what the person deserves and giving the person exactly that. Over here, the Justice, she is seated between two pillars, which are generally associated with the card of the High Priestess, wherein she as well was sitting between the two pillars of severity and mercy. We are able to see that as well over here. So she also tries to balance between that severity and mercy. She has a double-edged sword in her one hand and a scale in the other, a properly, perfectly balanced scale in the other. So that would kind of tell us that she uses logic and fairness in order to make her decisions. She can be brutal, but only when it's required. She would do it in balance. She will give the punishment that fits the crime, or she'll give the reward that fits the deed. On her crown in the center, she has a gem in a square shape, which is an emerald that represents existence of knowledge over here. So we are able to trust that she has the required knowledge for the tough decision that she needs to make. So she has the capability to do that. Even the purple cloth that she has in the background, that I think is tied to the two pillars, it represents wisdom and spirituality. So again, giving kind of a symbolism or a representation that she is able to make the right decisions. Her overall look, the posture, the crown, everything gives a sense of authority that she utilizes pretty well. Talking a little more about her looks, by her looks, she can seem kind of grumpy to some people, but at least to all, she would seem someone who means business, who's kind of strict, who's straightforward, who would not believe in giving second chances, can be brutal if required. Now, this is kind of a little tricky one. Some people say that their Rider-Waite-Smith deck has the Justice blinded, whereas mine doesn't. And as far as I looked on Google, there as well, the Justice was not blinded in RWS. So if it's a blinded Justice, it would generally mean that she is unbiased and takes decisions only on the basis of facts. But if the eyes are open, then we can say that she is observant, and at times can be fooled by illusions. So it depends how it is or how you take it. If you believe that the justice should be that powerful pure card wherein there is no scope at all of a mistake, go with that. Consider the open eyes to be a symbolism of considering every minute thing, observing everything, even if things are not shown to her, even if people try to hide it from her, she will have a look at it. But if you think that truth is not something that always prevails, and in the realistic world you need to have that realistic touch, then go with that one. I actually take the justice card as being pure justice, but obviously your interpretation needs to be your own. So go with what you believe in. We already talked about the sword being a symbolism of analytical mind, symbolism of going with the truth and the capability of being brutal. There's one more interpretation of the existence of sword, which is that the sword is used in order to destroy everything that's a lie or that's unfair or that's biased or things like that. The justice destroys unjust things in order to build a fair and balanced establishment. So that's it from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Now let's look at the symbolisms of the Justice card from the Shadowscapes deck. Over here, we are able to see that the Justice has closed her eyes and has a third eye as well in between. So that's kind of a feeling of having unbiasedness, not giving importance to the illusions that she might be facing, and giving a just decision. Although some people believe, and in fact I think even the guidebook says so, that these eyes are not blinded or closed. These eyes are totally wide, because they are glaring with truth. So these are open eyes who can directly see the truth, no matter where it is hidden. It is directly facing the glazing truth, and hence the eyes are also glazing white. This means that she is able to see a lot of things, not that she's not able to see things, and hence is unbiased. So we have both the interpretations. Choose what you like. Now, we are not able to see any pillars over here that can associate her with the High Priestess, but we are able to see a moon in the background, and the High Priestess as well wears a moon, and which is kind of an association between the Justice and the High Priestess card. Although the moon will also symbolize the power of intuition. Another thing in this card that associates her with the High Priestess are her black and white wings, which are kind of a symbol of the duality that is represented by those two pillars as well. Talking about associations, there is no red robe to represent association with Goddess Mart, the Egyptian goddess Mart that we talked about in the RWS deck, but we have a feather, and the goddess Mart is believed to weigh a person's or a soul's heart as against a feather in order to decide which place they deserve to go to, be it hell or heaven. So here the feather that she's holding is believed to be representative of goddess Mart. Also, the feather that she's holding looks very much like a sword, and hence can be associated with the things that we associated with the sword in the RWS deck. One more small thing to notice over here are that there are a lot of butterflies in this card everywhere, which are believed to be symbols of transformation, and some also believe them to be the souls that are kind of thankful to her for providing fair decisions, for providing proper justice to them. That's it from the Shadowscapes deck. Now let's discuss what would be the meaning of a reversed justice card. Now again, let me remind you that many a times the reversed meanings are kind of the opposite of the upright meanings, and because the upright meaning of this card is impartiality or unbiasedness, the reversed card would mean partiality, biasness. Basically, it's injustice. You can see a lot of unjust around in that particular situation. The client or people who are really important in that particular situation might also indulge into cheating. So my kind of advice in such situations to my clients is that just staying out of the situation for some time, or not doing anything much, because things can be misunderstood, and even if the client is trying to do something with good intentions, he or she might end up doing something that's pathetic. If there are other people who are involving in this impartiality, then it's better to either fight against it or change the situation altogether. So change the job or things like that. If the client is not able to see any such thing at present, then I suggest my client to stay alert and think twice before taking an action, so that if there is a possible misunderstanding, then it can be avoided by filtering down the action a little. So I hope that these different interpretations were of help to you in coming up with your own interpretation of the Justice card. If they were, then please do hit the like button, because that would let me know that I'm doing a good job. Also, please write the meaning according to you of the Justice card in the comments down below, so that all of us can be benefited out of it. An advice that I give at the end of almost every video is to relate the meaning of that particular card with your life experiences, your environment, your surroundings, so that you're able to remember it better. If you're able to do so, then writing it down would also help all of us grow. Share this video with anybody who would be interested in knowing more about the Justice card. And if you are interested in knowing about different interpretations of different tarot cards, then subscribe to the channel, because I come up with different interpretations of one card every weekend. So I'll see you next weekend. Till then, bye-bye, take care and stay curious.